I do not own the rights to this music. Hello, and welcome to Sunday School Summary with Brother Ron. Sunday School lesson for Sunday, July the 23rd, 2023. Our reference material for the Sunday School Summary is based upon the International Sunday School Lesson Series as published by the Sunday School Publishing Board. We are discussing The Righteous Reign of God is the title of the summer lesson series. And the righteous reign of God is a discussion of the nature of God's reign, beginning with the Old Testament declaration of God's righteous power. The Righteous Reign of God lesson series is categorized into 3 units or groups of lessons, and we are in Unit 2, and we are discussing Jesus Envisions the Kingdom. Now, these lessons explore Jesus' kingdom teachings as found in the book of Matthew. And it provides evidence of God's kingdom in our midst, and also it explores Jesus' parables related to God's kingdom here on earth. The title of our third lesson in the Unit 2 Summer 2023 lesson series is titled Growing Together, or the Parable of the Wheat and the Tares. The key verse comes from Matthew chapter 13, verse 30, which reads, "Let both grow together until the harvest. At that time, the harvesters first collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned. Then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn." So God will separate the good from the bad at the harvest, which is the end of time. The title of today's lesson, Growing Together, according to the Gospel or the Good News of Matthew, which is the first book of the New Testament section of the Bible. And Jesus is tempted by Satan in the wilderness of 40 days, and he returns from the wilderness and begins his public ministry, preaching and teaching in Galilee. As part of his public ministry, Jesus uses stories to convey his message. And Jesus explained that he used stories or parables because the people look but do not clearly see, and they hear but they do not really understand. Therefore, Jesus explained the kingdom of God through a series of parables, which brings us to today's lesson concerning the parable of the weeds. There are 2 summary lesson points for today. Let them all grow together from Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 through 30. Second, let the called grow together from Matthew chapter 13, verses 36 through 43. The passages for the lesson today revolve around the key words of faith, parable, tares, and disciple. We know that faith is the complete assurance, trust, belief, or confidence in God. It is the righteous reward of the faithful in today's lesson. Parable is a story told by Jesus through which he teaches and illustrates moral lessons and principles. The parable of the weeds in today's lesson. Tares, undesirable plants or weeds similar in appearance to wheat. The followers of Satan in the parable in today's lesson. Disciples is the biblical definition of a disciple is a follower of a teacher, rabbi, or master, a chosen follower of Jesus Christ, such as Matthew in today's lesson. Our first summary point, let them all grow together, from Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 through 30. And these passages, Jesus told another parable. It's the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. And we know that the man who sowed the good seeds is Jesus Christ. But while everyone was sleeping, the enemy, Satan, came and sowed seeds among the wheat and went away. And when the wheat sprouted and formed heads, the weeds also appeared. The owner's servant came to him and said, "Sir, you sowed good seeds in your field. Where then did the weeds come from?" And the owners they said, "An enemy did this," he replied. The servants asked, "Do you want us to go out and pull up the weeds?" "No," he answered, "because while you are pulling up the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Let them both grow together until the harvest. At that time, I will tell the harvesters, first collect the weeds and then tie them in bundles and to be burned, and then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn." So we are to not focus on the weeds among us, but we are to focus on the Jesus among us and in us. And the Lord will take care of the weeds in our life in due time. Our second parable is "Let the called glow together." And that's from Matthew chapter 13, verses 36 through 43. In these passages, Matthew recounts how Jesus explains the parable of the weeds to the disciples because they did not understand. He says, "Then he left the crowd and went into the house, and the disciples came to him and said, 'Explain to us the parable of the weeds in the field.' Jesus answered, 'The one who sowed the good seed is the Son of Man, who is Jesus Christ himself.' And he says, 'The field is the world, and the good seed stands for the people of the kingdom, or the followers of Jesus Christ. The weeds are the people of the evil ones, or the followers of Satan.' He says, 'And the enemy who sows them is the devil. And the harvest is the end of the age, and the harvesters are angels.' And he says that as the weeds are pulled up and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the age. And he says, the Son of Man will send out his angels, and they will weed out of his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. They will throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun," or glow together, "in the kingdom of their Father. Whoever has ears, let them hear." So we are to be aware of Jesus Christ's coming again. We also should not focus our attention on the evil ones, because God will take care of them in due time. We are to focus our attention on being a good seed for Jesus Christ. This is Brother Ron with the Sunday School Summary for Sunday, July the 23rd, 2023. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed week, and we hope to see you next Sunday for another edition of Sunday School Summary with Brother Ron.